Okay, I believe the recording is on. Welcome everyone. This is our second mid-cycle for the Dalmation cycle of R7. Thanks for everyone for coming. We have a pretty short itinerary, but we'll get through it, and we'll see if things come up as we go, or possibly we'll be able to reclaim some time and keep rolling. Brian, we can start with you. RBD, add snapshot mirroring support if you want to just jump right in.
Sure. Not much to say about this. I don't even know. I came across some note about this and went and looked at it and realized we had done nothing. So basically, let me find the put the link to the patches here. It's two patches. One we decided not to accept. The other we were sort of okay with. But then the proposer just has never responded. What I wanted to ask was, does anybody feel like following up on this? And if not, I guess we should just abandon them for now. And if it comes up again, somebody else can do it.
So this is a change that lets you use a different mode of replication.
Yeah. And it was proposed back in 2021.
Yeah, I would have to go study up on what that really means, but
I guess the thing is, if nobody's really excited about this, I think we should just abandon it. And so I basically just wanted to bring some visibility, because it looks like the proposer just got discouraged, or I don't know. I think what happened was maybe one of our, ever so often the third-party CIs just grab a patch for no reason, and then it suddenly shows up as being recent in the dashboard because there's been a comment left on it. And I think that's how I came across this.
So basically, I think what this option is, looking it up, is that the current mode is journal-based replication, which is synchronous, and snapshot-based is a scheduled asynchronous replication thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many people use replication with RBD. We really don't hear about it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's probably a sensible feature, but if no one's really using this or cares, then I'm not really sure what to do with it.
Right. Okay.
My question would be, are we enabling it because Ceph supports it, or are we enabling it because there's actually demand and someone has a use case for it?
Well, I imagine this dude had a use case and has a local patch.
The use case for it would be that you don't have higher write latency, which you get by using the replication that we do currently. But I don't even know. Oh, it's been a long time since I've thought about this stuff as far as Cinder replication in general. If there are any implications about the fact that it's async replication. We have some other drivers that do async replication, right?
Yeah. So what do you think is the implication for async replication?
What was the question?
What do you think is the issue with async replication then? Or the potential problem?
I don't know if there is one. It's been years since I've thought about replication in Cinder, honestly, so I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. suppose it depends how long the async replication takes. You know, obviously there's a time period between the snapshots, effectively, because that's what they are. And whoever's doing the replication has to be aware of that, whatever that lag is, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever it might be. So when they try and recover from that volume on the remote site, they have to be aware that it may not be absolutely up to date. It depends on the last cycle of the async replication that occurred. Apart from that, you know, people should be aware that's what async is, and that's a function of it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the patch, so it was from somebody at CERN. I wonder if it was like a summer intern or something that did it as a project, and then that's why there's been no follow-up. All right, sorry. So I guess nobody's excited about it. I guess we just don't approve the blueprint and then abandon the patches.
This patch is pretty small. An alternative to abandonment might be I'd have to spin up a new replication environment. I haven't done that in a while, but if this works and it's relatively minor, we could carry it. But there's no bug. There's no I'm not hearing anything downstream pushing for this either. So I don't know what's the consensus.
I have no opinion.
I mean, I suppose the other option is we've got that there's like a list of unimplemented specs. I could put a link to this blueprint just so that it's there, because this would be if somebody's interested and willing to, you know, set up environment and test it, this would be an easy thing to do.
Like a new contributor or a low-hanging fruit kind of thing, assuming they can spin up an environment suitable for testing. Maybe let me just backpedal every word I just said.
All right, I'll take an action item to do that. So I'll put this, so we won't do anything now, and we'll just put it in the, I'll make sure there's a link to this blueprint in the specs repo, which I think I can do.
Yeah, it'd be a shame to lose it. Like, I mean, if my concern would be if we abandon it, it's just going to.
Yeah, it's just going to disappear. And if it looked like it was, right, so we rejected the one patch, the one that has a -1 for the blueprint not being approved looks okay. But like I don't know jack about RPD. Okay.
Well, the second patch there is not quite as obvious what else going on, because it's adding snap mirroring to backups, which is a whole different kind of concept, I think.
Yeah, we had the discussion about that and just decided it wasn't the right way to do backups. So even though you could, we thought that was not a good idea.
I must have missed that discussion, or I just don't remember.
It was July 7th, 2021. So, okay, thank you.
All right. I have 3 questions, and they're all kind of related, and it actually blends into Simon's following bullet point. But to start with, I'm looking at the as we're approaching the freeze for libraries and things in the final release. I'm looking at the OS brick patches, and I'm wondering if there's anything we need to include or need to prioritize as we come up to the release. Specifically, I'm wondering about Simon's review of the fiber channel, NVMe over fiber channel support to the connector for the Dell Power Store efforts. My understanding is that it's pretty specific to their driver and is not a generic solution. But I'm curious about, Simon, your thoughts, and maybe Gorka, yours, if you had a chance to look at it. And then related to brick patches in general, we have quite a few, not just brick, but for Cinder as well, against the unmaintained branches. And those, my understanding is that like normal cores do not have the ability to weigh in on those. And how do we, how do we move those along or evaluate those so they don't just accumulate because they
so we have absolutely no responsibility for those unless you want to. So we can go in and leave comments if we think there's, so like on the CVE patches, I've taken a quick look at 1 or 2, but we have no responsibility at all. So there's a special unmaintained core team that handles that stuff. So
okay.
yeah, so basically, now some teams have decided they want to, so like Ironic wants to participate in this. We didn't, because this gets you in that whole situation where we're maintaining way too much stuff. So basically, with the unmaintained branches, the people who really have an interest in maintaining those are doing it.
Okay, so even though you'll see you'll see them in Git review listings.
Yeah. So what we could do is
not on my radar.
I can talk to Fungi or Clark to see if there's a way that we can. So there's like a default, right? When you get your, so what I'm trying to say is you can filter out all the unmaintained branches, so you just never see them. So we should probably do that for the default. I don't know if they'll want to do it for the default dashboard or not. But if you do, shoot, what's the syntax for this? I think you put a caret. Well, I'll investigate. There's a way to I don't know how to do it though. I just swore that was. Maybe I need that. All right. There's some way to do that. So we can just filter those out if we want to. I guess I should add it to our dashboards. I mean, we've got on the Cinder meeting page, there are 2 dashboards. There's like the maintained branches and the unmaintained. Except I don't know where the up in the spotlight links, I think.
Yeah, tiny.cc/cinder maintained and cinder-unmaintained.
So this way you can sort of see them.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, we have, so it's basically if we want to take responsibility, but when Rajat was PTL and we pushed this through, we decided, we just didn't want to have anything to do with it. So from a project point of view, we don't have any responsibility for these.
Okay, that's what I needed. I just wanted to make sure I'm not.
Yeah, right. So
right.
So if we ignore those, that's perfectly okay.
Okay.
And if anyone here wants to become an unmaintained core, you just contact. I think there's like an OpenStack unmaintained IRC channel, and so you can just sort of volunteer in there if you want. I don't know what they were. So the last time I looked at this was maybe a year ago. They were still figuring out what the requirements were going to be for unmaintained cores. But it's basically, I think anyone who's got a distribution that's based on an old, an old release that wants to maintain it is doing it. So we figure they have the testing and they have the ability to run CI on the stuff, whereas we don't have any of that stuff.
Okay, excellent. That answers that question. So I guess my next question will lead into Simon's question, specifically the NVMe fiber channel patch on brick does not support zone manager, but I guess Dell's power store driver doesn't need this in order to function. And I'm wondering, is it oh, Simon, I'll let you talk, but my initial question is it does it get us partially the way there, or is this something specific to Dell that isn't going to be reusable in a generic solution that covers like proper fiber channel support?
Yeah, I think this is, I think what they've done is they've taken the easy route and have just modified the existing NVMe IP-based protocol connector to support fiber channel and their specific requirement. They actually state in the patch that they don't support FCZM in NVMe fiber channel, but are considering it for the future. And if they do consider it for the future, this patch is not going to fly. It just won't work with it. I mean, I'd like Gorka to jump in on it because he's obviously the expert on this thing. But in my opinion, they need to properly support FCZM if they're going to add it into something like OS Brick. And I think the only way to do that is to create, in this case, a true a new connector for NVMe-FC.
Well, from my perspective, I have no idea how the zone manager in NVMe over TCP works. So when Simon says that something is missing, I believe him. I have no clue what that is. So I will have to learn basically what it is.
Yeah, all they've done is they've taken the TCP connector, or the IP one basically, which is both TCP and RDMA, and they've just added FC to it.
Yep.
Which, when you first think about it, it's like, yeah, that's an easy thing. It's a different transport. But because fiber channel is fundamentally different to an IP-based transport, you have to have things like initiator target maps.
Yeah.
Which are not in the IP-based NVMe connector. So really what you should be doing, you should be modifying the FC connector or creating a whole new NVMe-FC connector.
Or extend the NVMe to support maps like we did with fiber channel. But yeah, definitely that created a lot of problems in fiber channel. We kept improving. Oh, we forgot that we can have different LANs on different ports. And then we realized the initiator map, then we realized, and I think it would be counterproductive to merge something that is half-baked, because customers and driver vendors will think, oh, there is NVMe fiber channel support, so I can just do things. And then we will get customer complaints saying, hey, you're connecting the wrong volume to the wrong host, or whatever complaint we can get. Yeah. That could be dangerous.
I agree. I think really this needs to be done properly. I suspect I've thought about doing this myself, but I don't know Icebrick as well as I should, because Pure wants to have this support. But I'm even though Pure wants this protocol support, I'm not prepared to have a solution out there that we can't use properly. You know, I've got customers today who are using fiber channel drivers, and they're saying, we want to use NVMe fiber channel drivers. Therefore, they're going to expect it to do the same thing. You know, they're going to expect it to use fiber channel zone manager, you know, because they're using it now. So I don't think we can justify allowing this Icebrick patch in, which would basically mean that the NVMe-FC support for PowerStore can't be allowed either.
Mm-hmm. So, Simon, if I get it right, the zone management in Cinder would remain the same. There would be no change over there, right? The zone managers that we have, the drivers.
Yeah, they shouldn't be affected at all. They're not affected in the slightest. It's all to do with the gen level of the fiber channel switches. That's the only, it's the protocol on the fiber channel. So nothing else changes. Zoning is exactly the same. WWNs are exactly the same. It's just that they also throw an NQN down the pipe as well.
Okay. All right. Then maybe I had a quick look now at the changes, and there are a couple of weird things. Well, one weird thing, and the fact that they didn't update, I think, the protocol description in one place, where in the comments we tried to include the connection properties examples, and they just added fiber channel. It's like, no, but you're returning different data, so at least you should add that data. That is small, but I think maybe we can try to guide them into, okay, you need look at how the fiber channel driver does this part of the initiator map, and you need to do the equivalent here, because I think that's most of it, right? Just having what we currently have in the normal fiber channel. Initiator map, different LANs for different addresses.
Yeah. It might be as simple as just extending the current FC connector with NQNs and target NQNs. I don't know. It might be that simple. I suspect it's not. I suspect the easiest way is to probably clone the existing FC connector and then add in a whole bunch of NVMe stuff that is required, you know, all the NVMe CLI stuff that's going to be required in there. So like it's going to be some sort of hybrid of the NVMe NVMe IP connector and the existing fiber channel connector. And it needs to be its own connector, because trying to make one of the others do something it shouldn't really be doing is a bit weird and probably messy.
I don't know the specifics of how it would, the different scenarios and the different commands that I would need to run manually. So for me, right now, it's hard to figure out which one of the three options is the best: modify the existing NVMe, modifying FC, or creating a completely new one. It's hard for me right now to figure it out. But I think it may be just a matter of creating some new classes in the NVMe to better separate the differences that the fiber channel one has. But I would need to be able to test this myself, to be honest. And for that, I would probably need to modify the LVM NVMe driver. So it's not going to be something quick.
No,
to be honest.
I get that. I understand that completely. And that's why I think rushing this through into Dalmation for Dell is not the best way of doing this. We need to push this out. FYI, Gorka, Red Hat should be getting a free NVMe fiber channel capable array from us very soon, which should be able to access.
Yeah, that will really help with more advanced stuff, because the LVM one will be probably a lot more limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree that with all the trouble that the fiber channel has given us over the years, I would be against merging something, like Simon said, that it's not complete, and that, for example, his customers will not be able to use. It's not one of those scenarios where I say, oh, okay, we cover 80% of the cases, so we just need to document it. We encounter a lot of small issues in fiber channel over the years, so doesn't seem realistic in production environments that this would cover 80% of the cases.
Yeah.
That's helpful. I think Dell is hoping to push it through so that they can have support for their driver. But I just want to make sure. I wanted to make sure we're all on the same page about it. But
yeah, and the problem with not merging it now is that this is not something that upstream this would be backportable, because this is a new feature. So downstream, everybody on their own distributions, they can do whatever they want. But upstream, this is definitely not something that in the past we accepted for backports.
Yeah, it's not something I would expect to be backported, even if we added it. You know, it's. I tell all our customers, you know, you want something like this, you've got to wait for that release of OpenStack to be in your distribution before, because we are not backporting this.
excellent. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification on that. That's appreciated. With regard to Brick, then we've got a couple of backports from one's from Rajat about the waiting for multipath device to be ready.
Ooh, that was important. That one is important.
Let me provide a link for that. That one. That one should definitely have priority. And then there's one other one. Since if you're going to be looking at Brick backports, there's another one. Those are the two. I'm looking at the right dashboard. I believe that's it. Many are unmaintained. There's really only a couple on master, one of which is the fiber channel that we just discussed. So Brick's looking in pretty good shape, minus these two backports. Definitely the Rajat patch needs priority. The other one, I'm not sure yet. I haven't had a chance to look at, but
Yeah, but backports like this should be easy to get in.
yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, I think Brick looks to be in pretty good shape. So that's all I've got with regard to the schedule. We're at R7, so we've got about a month and a half till the final release. Freezes are coming up. Does anyone have anything they want to discuss? Any issues? Feel free to bring it up.
There's no issue, and for NetApp, we implemented the iSCSI, and I mean HF for iSCSI and FCP driver. Maybe if you get a chance, please review that. Yeah, we have implemented as what Gurka mentioned in our PTG meeting. Yeah. We handle replication. Yeah, we have done that. Yeah, we have added that to that page.
Yeah, we have added it to Etherpad and the one you shared, and as well as we put in the chat. We needed some reviews for that, and that really helps. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. This is the NetApp on tap active iSCSI fiber channel drivers. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Thank you, John.
Anyone else? Anything that is would be valuable to discuss while we're all together? Sometimes we can work through things really quickly when we're all together. So if there's anything that would benefit from that,
Yeah,
it'll be some time before we get together. Go ahead.
yeah. I have a few SRBIC patches for testing the feature, and I read in the reviews. I can paste the links. We had a session like three weeks ago. I present the test, the base structure. I can also present it for you guys, or you can just just review it. Where should I paste the links or something here on the chat?
You can put it in the chat and I'll move it over to the Etherpad, or you can throw it in the Etherpad, whichever is, either of them are fine.
Okay.
You know, we have the festival reviews this week, right?
Friday.
So maybe we can put some emphasis on these secure RBAC test patches because they're pretty important. They're not really small, but they're not very complicated once you understand it. So
when is this festival? On Friday? It's not a working day for me in Israel,
right.
But maybe I can join if the time is.
Well, you know, if we I think we're going to have time, so we could run through it quickly. If people haven't seen you discuss this, you know, want a quick walkthrough so you can point out the things to pay attention to in reviewing the patches.
Sure.
Excuse me.
I can present something if you have time, and it's fine with you guys.
This slot is reserved for this sort of thing. So yeah, if you're ready, you're welcome to So if it will provide context and help the review process on Friday go smoother and quicker, I think that could benefit all of us.
Yeah, sure. So let me share my screen for a second. Just a sec. Uh, okay, let me know if you can see it. Yeah, it's presented. Okay. Okay, I take one of the tests just to show how it goes. Actually, let me go one step backwards. We have the base file, the base Python file that includes stuff like check if this test should be skipped, or like versions, stuff like that. We have the credentials, setup, resource setup, common things and functionality for all the tests that inherits from this class, and the request itself. And here we have like create volume, create snapshot, stuff like that. Now, every test will inherit from this class, like this, like snapshot, for example, and it overrides stuff like setup clients, like setup, like create credentials, stuff like that. And basically, when we review these tests, we want to make sure that we have like the right credentials, the right clients, sorry. Here we have volume clients and snapshot clients that are relevant for these tests. We have a list of methods with expected status. For example, if we run list snapshot, it's a bad example, but if we have, let's say, create snapshot, and admin and member roles are allowed to create snapshot, but the reader user cannot, so the expected status will be forbidden, and the other ones will be 200 or 202. So we will have a list of operations or functionalities that all will do the request, and right after it, we will have a list of classes. Here, for example, we have the reader test. It's also a bad example. Okay, this is the reader test. It will create credential for reader and admin, because if we want to, let's say, list the snapshot, I need a few snapshots to be listed, something to show. So the admin will create the resources and will delete them, but the reader will do the actual request. This is the test, actually. And right after all the functionality, we will have three classes. One is for reader, and call each method with the expected status. We will have the member after it with the member expected status, and then we will have the admin. It's not presented here because this patch doesn't contain the admin, but all the rest are it's included, and that's it. So once we review the functionality itself and see that it's good and looks good, the only things that left to see is that reader is actually forbidden for sort of part of the request, what actually forbidden to do. That's it. I took like snapshot. I can do it. Let's say volume types. Volume types will be the same. It will have the the clients. It will have the resource setup, resources that will be shared by all the tests. It will have the functionality like update, create update, stuff like that. And after all the functionality, we will see, just a sec, we will see the reader test and the member test. And after that, we will have the admin test. That's it. It's pretty straightforward. If you need like ping me on private or something, I can like explain more if needed. But it's pretty straightforward, and the core thing to test it, to check here is the functionality itself, like the methods itself. That's it, I guess. Anyone want to ask something? This
Thanks,
form?
Yoshi. Can you add the dashboard or the URLs or at least an entry point to the Etherpad so that I can keep track of it and make sure it gets into the agenda for Friday.
Yeah, I can just a second. Let me check something here. I can pass maybe this link. It's filtered by the topic with me and the open status. So all these basically need review. So
that would be great. That I can push into our agenda on Friday. That would be awesome if you could throw that into either the chat or the Etherpad.
yeah, it's here. Thank you very much. It's will be highly appreciated. It's very important at the moment.
Yeah, thanks for writing all these tests. They're definitely something we need.
All right. Anything else? Anything else we should cover as a group? We're approaching the top of the hour. All right, I'm going to stop recording then, I think.